This is CTV News with Lauren.
The 3 vessels that were involved were fully involved. They weren't savable, so we focused on protecting the vessels that were adjacent, the exposure hazards.
A fire rips through 3 luxury yachts, damaging countless others. The video and efforts underway to clean up.
We have never issued a travel advisory in the past, but it is something that we need to monitor.
A rare step for a local Indigenous community. Hawaiian Island First Nation is warning against travel to the U.S. Plus, this egg's smile is unstoppable. Adam finds out why it's remained uncooked and uncracked for 60 years. Coming up on the Sawatsky sign-off. An evacuation order in the Comox Valley had been lifted after Friday's flooding forced people out of their homes, with some now having to start over. Here's CTV's Andy Garland.
Well, this was the campsite.
People living at the Maple Pool Campground and RV Park in Courtenay are cleaning up after Friday's flood.
The water came up to here.
I was wading through it. I was about probably 4 feet deep in the water.
And unfortunately for Bradley and Matthew, the surging floodwaters have most likely destroyed their homes.
It's a lot worse than I initially thought. We came in and started cleaning, and it's pretty extensive damage, water damage.
I've been here 2 years. This is the first experience I have in it. And of course now my home's demolished now.
The highway to Gold River is now reopened after a washout closed the road, and the Comox Valley Regional District rescinded the evacuation orders over the weekend, which forced roughly 150 people to leave their homes.
There's still a reception center at Lower Native Sons Hall on Cliff Street here in Courtenay for people who need a bit of support while they're trying to sort things out.
The combination of heavy rain, snowmelt, and king tides was the perfect storm to cause a flood event not seen around these parts for more than a decade.
2014 was the last time I saw a flood of this magnitude, and I've been in my 3rd year as chair now, and I've never had to declare a state of emergency before.
As Bradley and Matthew salvage what they can, they are thankful for the tight-knit community in which they live and are up on their 2 feet already because of it.
We have a friend just up here, and he moved into a new trailer. Okay. So we're using his old trailer until we either fix ours or get a different one.
Luckily, I have the best girlfriend in the world. She has a trailer that she's going to have me staying in, so this one will be replaced, hopefully.
The regional district says they continue to monitor the conditions, and having less rain in the upcoming forecast will help. Andy Garland, CTV News, Comox Valley.
3 luxury yachts are now on the ocean floor in Sydney following a large fire at a marina on Sunday morning. This video captures those large flames, and as you can see, thick black smoke from the fire at Van Isle Marina that broke out at around 7:30 a.m. By the time crews arrived, 3 70-foot yachts were on fire, and it took about 90 minutes for crews to get those flames under control. An unknown number of boats nearby were also damaged from the heat of the blaze. Sydney's fire chief says the fire does not appear to be suspicious, but that an investigation may be difficult.
Cause determination will be extremely difficult. Obviously, the severity of the fire, the amount of damage will make that difficult in itself, and that is just, exacerbated by the fact that it's now on the bottom of the ocean. So, finding or arriving at a cause is not impossible, but it will be difficult, and it'll be completely dependent upon what we can examine and what they can recover off the bottom. So that's very difficult to tell at this time.
The chief says the multi-million-dollar yachts were likely docked for the winter season, and nobody was on board any of them at the time. Crews say a lot of fuel, though, and debris went into the water, and an environmental assessment is now underway, led by Western Canada Marine Response. A First Nation on Vancouver Island is warning its members not to travel to the United States. Hueyat First Nation has issued a travel advisory, citing concerns about ICE agents and potential issues at the border. CTV's Anna McMillan reports.
So our citizens are reacting with a mixture of understanding and disappointment, and also with some anxiety.
The chief of Hueyat First Nations on the west coast of Vancouver Island says members should not travel to the United States if they can avoid it.
There have been no issues for Hueyat members at this point, so our travel advisory is precautionary in nature.
Hueyat's government issued the advisory because of the immigration crackdown in the United States. Chief John Jack says of Hueyat's 900 or so citizens, Canadians, up to 50 live in the U.S.
We have quite a big branch of one of the major families of our community live in the Bellingham area, as well as a strong core of citizens who live in California.
He says Indigenous peoples can typically cross the border at land and sea crossings with their status cards.
We are concerned that immigration enforcement isn't entirely aware of how that works, and therefore an enhanced status card or other types of identification may not be enough.
In southern Alberta, the Blood Tribe has also issued a travel advisory, citing reports that status cards have not been respected.
We've heard from many of our clients who share similar concerns and anxieties regarding the U.S. travel in recent months, largely due to the immigration and customs enforcement activity, as well as the associated protests that comes with that.
That security specialist works for a firm that provides security advice to companies and organizations when it comes to travel.
Our advice for all travelers to the U.S. is that they carry valid identification on their person throughout their visit, ideally both physical and digital copies.
Huayed is echoing that, telling members to bring their passports and birth certificates if they must travel to the States in case their status cards don't cut it.
We expect the advisory to be in place as long as immigration enforcement in the United States is uncertain.
Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
A new report is offering its take on how to turn around BC's forestry industry. As of now, 6 mills have announced permanent closures, with 6 more being hit with either indefinite or temporary closures. As CTV's Brendan Strain shows us, even if the recommendations are adopted, it could take years to change the trajectory of the industry.
An independent report from the Provincial Forestry Advisory Council finds that BC's current forest management system is failing.
We've built a system on an era that no longer exists.
The report identifies 4 major themes to begin to fix a forestry industry that is in a major decline in this province, seeing job losses, mill curtailments, and closures.
We don't know what we have on the land base right now.
The first recommendation is to use information collected through LiDAR to create an inventory of the province's vast forests that everyone would have access to. The second is to create area-based land management.
Defined areas based on territories, based on ecology, based on the characteristics of that area.
Which would replace the current timber supply review process with a long-term management plan. The report is also calling for an independent body to oversee that transition to area-based management. The fourth recommendation is to redirect funding away from initiatives that are currently not working under the BC timber sales model in order to pay for these recommendations to be implemented.
There is real consequences that we're feeling today in communities, and the trajectory that we are on does not lead to good results.
It's going to take time, given the comprehensive nature of this report, for government to review carefully the recommendations.
The province was provided a copy of the recommendations a few weeks back. The Minister of Forests says that review is now being digested by government and says it's still too early to say what will be adopted from this report. Parmar says he's already committed to moving the industry from volume-based to area-based harvesting.
Moving us towards a working forest model that can ensure that we have a sustainable harvest that allows these mills throughout British Columbia to be creating good paying jobs.
The Provincial Forestry Advisory Council says if these recommendations were to be adopted today, it could take up to 5 years to implement. And in an industry teetering on collapse, that timeline means more job losses could come before a correction can happen. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Victoria.
Pacific FC is announcing several of its games this upcoming season will be played at Victoria Royals Athletic Park. In a post on social media, the team says it will play 4 games at the pitch located near downtown Victoria, 2 this spring and 2 in October. The rest of the home games will be at Starlight Stadium in Langford. The announcement comes as the city of Langford claims the team owes the city hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid bills. Royal Athletic Park's anchor tenant, the Victoria Harbour Cats, says it was blindsided by the news and a scheduling conflict with one of their events.
And for us, it's been seemingly an intentional idea that the PFC and the city would not speak to us about these kind of plans or ideas, and we don't work that way in the community, and we don't understand why anybody else would want to as well.
Earlier this month, Langford said it would only allow the team to play at Starlight Stadium if it paid the rental fee at least 2 weeks in advance. The city of Victoria says the club does not currently owe it any money from previous events, and the team is renting the facility at its regular rate with no subsidy from the city. We reached out to Pacific FC today. It chose not to comment. Well, bundle up for 6 more weeks of winter. At least that's what our island marmot is predicting on this Groundhog Day.
And that means it's Groundhog Day.
Violet made her
This ball of
prediction
fur is
alongside
named
her
Violet,
mate, Philip,
very
who
sleepy
confirmed her forecast. The marmot couple are among 18 other pairs producing pups that are released into the wild as part of a recovery effort to save the species. Violet is deep into hibernation right now, which means she's basically asleep on the job. But researchers say there's an important reason to interrupt her long winter nap.
We're working basically in the dark to just try and keep everything down. The real reason for doing this is to give her a way in, so to make sure she's going through hibernation, progressing through the season and losing weight at an appropriate pace. But of course, it gives us a quick opportunity as well to get her take on the weather for the next 6 weeks.
In other parts of the country, both Wyerton Willie and Ontario and Lucy the Lobster predicted an early spring arrival. RCMP are looking for a man who walked out of an island Home Depot with a fridge. Mounties are looking for your help identifying this individual wanted for theft of appliance. Here's how it went down. Officers say on January 17th, a man walked into the Home Depot in Langford, grabbed a dolly, loaded it up with a $2,100 LG fridge, and wheeled it right out the door without paying. Oh, and he didn't return the $100 dolly either. If anyone has information, you're asked to call police or anonymously report it via Crime Stoppers. Still ahead, the battle to build Canada's next generation of submarines.
It's a big, big procurement. This is going to be a relationship with the winner for years, decades to come.
On board in South Korea, what's in the sales pitch? Later on CTV News Vancouver Island.
I don't care what the Groundhog said. It's going to feel more like spring here for at least the next week, maybe 2 weeks. 9 degrees right now with highs in the 10 to 15 range for the rest of this week. Your full forecast after the break.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
What makes West Shore Parks and Recreation a perfect place to play? It's our staff, working behind the scenes to keep the pool safe, kids engaged, and programs thriving. So apply today and join our team.
All right, time now to bring in Josh with our check-in with the weather. And you were saying just before the break there, Josh, you respectfully disagree with Violet and Philip's Groundhog Day prediction?
Yeah, I do. It looks really warm here for the day. I know this isn't a 6-week forecast, but for at least the next week or two, temperatures are going to be more on par with what late March, early April average daytime highs are. We're going to be in the 10 to 15 degree range here for daytime highs. It's 9 in Victoria right now. We hit 12 yesterday. 9 will go down as the daytime high for today. A little breezy. We've had some showers and some periods of drizzle in the area. 8 to 10 across the rest of the island. A little windy there up in Port Hardy. It will be gusty tonight and through the course of the day tomorrow in the north as that next system goes through. There you can see the lingering scattered showers, light precipitation. That should move out overnight tonight. Tomorrow morning, get some showers that kind of graze parts of the north. Most of the rain, I think, is going to hold off until midday and through the afternoon. In Victoria, we may still see a few pockets of drizzle in the morning hours, then just mostly cloudy through the afternoon. You can see this rain stretches all the way through inland areas, maybe as far south as Nanaimo by about supper time. But watch how, if we kick this into action, it looks like it skirts north of Nanaimo or of Victoria. So I think we'll be dry tomorrow night and dry through Wednesday and Thursday. Towards the end of the week, into the weekend, there is another chance of some heavier, steadier rain for much of the island, though. Afternoon and evening rain in the north, gusts to about 50 or 60 kilometers per hour. Then a chance of some more late day showers and a high of 14 on Wednesday. A little bit of a dry slot there Thursday, Friday before the rain rolls in over the weekend. Late day showers possible for inland areas. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. High of 11, 13 and 12 for daytime highs Wednesday, Thursday with some sunshine there on Thursday. Windy out of the west coast, gusts 60 or 70 kilometers per hour. Some rain, especially through the afternoon and evening hours. High of about 13. That's 5 degrees warmer than average. And it won't even be the warmest day of the week. 14 or 15 for a daytime high on Thursday. out on the west coast. Comox, breezy, gusts to about 30 kilometers per hour. Mostly cloudy skies, high of about 11, and then late in the afternoon into the evening hours, you get a pretty good chance of some showers rolling through. Cloudy with some late day sunny breaks at 11 again on Wednesday, and then sunshine and a high of about 11 or 12 degrees on Thursday. You're seeing for almost everybody that chance of showers or periods of rain on Saturday. That includes Nanaimo. 12 degrees tomorrow with the chance of a late day shower. Otherwise, just mostly cloudy through the day, and then sunshine and 11 or 12 degrees on Thursday. In Victoria, that chance of some drizzle not only tonight but into tomorrow morning. Then mostly cloudy. High of 11 tomorrow. 12, 13 or 14 with some sunshine on Thursday. You can see the average daytime high is 8. You get some mornings here where temperatures are going to be close to the average daytime high, so feeling fairly spring-like for the next little while. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. I don't want to make the Groundhogs mad at me, but I just disagree.
Double digits, though. We'll take it. Thanks, Josh. South Korea is pulling out all the stops to win the bid to Canada's next generation of submarines. CTV News has learned plans are in the works to sail one of the submarines across the Pacific to Canada this spring. Senior national correspondent Judy Trin is in Koje with the exclusive story.
A deep dive into what could be the biggest defense procurement in Canada's history, the purchase of up to 12 submarines.
Because this has now evolved into a government-to-government situation. It's a big, big procurement. This is going to be a relationship with the winner for years, decades to come.
To persuade, the South Korean Navy plans to sail the KSS-3 submarine across the Pacific and dock in British Columbia, a journey that will take 2 months.
Your hands up here.
Okay. CTV News also got to see Hanwha's pitch up close. We couldn't film because of security protocols, but the attack submarine holds about 50 sailors. It launches vertical missiles that target land and has torpedoes. But the deciding factor will rest on economic benefits. To win the contract, Hanwha is pledging to help hard-hit businesses, like investing $345 million in Algoma to buy its steel and help it build a plant to make beams.
It's been tough as tariffs have been in place for a year, and half of our business has gone away.
While some companies are hurting, others are looking for ways to expand. Using robotic technology, Hanwha builds 45 ships annually on its assembly line. Speed, Ontario's shipyards want to emulate.
I mean, what they do here is cutting edge. It's absolutely fantastic. If we can bring just a fraction of that to Canada, I think us as a country would be a lot further ahead in our shipbuilding endeavors.
The deadline for Hanwha and TKMS to submit their bids is March 2nd. It's a deal that could be worth $100 billion spread over more than 3 decades. It's investment that Canada needs to protect itself from Donald Trump's trade war. Judy Trin, CTV News, Koje, South Korea.
Coming up, Unstoppable Smile. Adam finds out why this raw egg has been kept in a family's fridge for 60 years. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Finally tonight, Adam finds out why an Esquimalt man's family has kept the same egg in a fridge for decades on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
When David Jevney was almost 6 years old, he woke up before his parents on Easter morning, took a raw egg out of the fridge, and drew a face on it.
Why not? Doesn't everybody draw a face on an egg at Easter and put it back in the fridge?
David doesn't remember why he did it or why his parents kept it, but he can't forget it being a constant while growing up.
And when you open the fridge door, you would always see it looking back at you.
More than a decade later, after David moved out, the egg stayed put.
A little bit of family history.
Does it have a name?
Egbert. With 2 G's. There's no better name for an egg. It's the only name for an egg.
Egbert remained in his parents' fridge, uncracked and uncooked for 50 years, until they passed away and David packed it up to move in with him and his wife, Lise.
The reaction was probably, oh my goodness, okay, well, do we have to take it to the next house we're moving to?
But after moving with the egg 5 times since, Lise has grown to appreciate it every day.
It's like, oh, right, there's Egbert. So good morning. Yeah, I haven't said good morning, but I'm probably saying it in my mind to him. Yeah.
And soon they'll be saying happy birthday to him. Because although Egbert's insides have started rattling,
he's still in there.
His outside remains unscathed.
Not one crack.
Egbert's kind of inspirational.
He is. He's strong.
And he's set to celebrate being 60 years old.
How long is Egbert going to stay in the fridge?
Forever, as long as I'm here. And the older you get, the neater it is.
And the older we get, the more precious we realize life is. So when we can find something that connects us with our past and improves our present, why not preserve it into the future?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by Coastal Community Credit Union. Bank happy at Coastal Community Credit Union.
And that is CTV News Vancouver Island for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night. Today on CTV News.
We do believe that it still is extortion related.
3 foreign nationals arrested after gunfire rings out in South Surrey. The new charges as investigators continue to comb the crime scene. Also tonight.
That's not a fall that you would expect most people to survive. So it's just a miracle that he did.
Lucky to be alive. A BC man falls 40 meters while climbing south of the border. The financial fight he's now facing trying to get home. And a BC bear cub badly burned, left struggling to survive in freezing temperatures. The remarkable road to recovery.
This is CTV News with Lauren Pulley.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. 3 foreign nationals have been charged in an extortion-related shooting in Surrey's Crescent Beach neighborhood yesterday, and police are now releasing their photos. Just before 4 a.m. Sunday, SPS officers were patrolling the neighborhood when they received reports of a shooting and a small fire burning near a home at Crescent Road and 132nd Street. Police tracked down 3 men who tried to escape in a ride share and arrested them. 21-year-old Harjot Singh, 19-year-old Taranveer Singh, and 21-year-old Dayajit Singh Billing have been charged with 1 count of discharging a firearm. Police say during the arrest, 2 men failed to comply.
We have officers who are responding to a shooting at a house in a residential area. These are the highest public safety related calls that we go to. We don't know if individuals are armed with a firearm or not. One of the individuals failed to comply with the verbal directions from the officers and began to actively resist. And as we are trained, he was taken to the ground and he was safely handcuffed.
The Canadian Border Services Agency is now also investigating. Surrey police say there have been 46 extortions this year. RCMP are still investigating a serious collision involving a pedestrian in Coquitlam this morning. Police were called to the 3300 block of David Avenue near Coast Meridian Road just before 8 a.m. Officials say the pedestrian was taken to hospital with serious injuries, and the driver of the vehicle did remain on scene. Anyone who was in the area, though, and may have dash cam video of the crash is being asked to come forward. Small businesses in BC appear to be shifting away from American products. A new survey finds an overwhelming majority are moving away from our southern neighbors as they fear the trade war could intensify. Here's CTV's Craig Krause.
The ongoing trade war with the United States has left many small business owners in this province trying to keep up with the constant swings. Now, according to a new survey, more than 60% say they are scaling back their U.S.-related activity. Here's how the numbers break down. So according to the Trade War survey by Merchant Growth, 45% of BC's small businesses said tariffs and trade disruptions decreased their profit margin over the past 12 months. On top of that, the survey found that about 1 in 4 said they spent between $5,000 and $25,000 in additional costs, and that's due to tariffs and trade-related fees over the past year, while 28% said they spent between $26,000 to $100,000.
They have lived with the level of volatility that we've not seen in years. I mean, probably more pronounced than on an ongoing basis than COVID.
After absorbing the cost, things could soon get more expensive. More than half of businesses said they plan to raise prices in the next 6 months. This all comes as Canada prepares to enter negotiations for the new Canada-US-Mexico Agreement on Trade, known as CUSMA. Whether it helps or hurts small businesses, well, it's yet to be seen.
I don't think small business owners are very hopeful that there's going to be any great net new deal. If anything, that they're starting to realize that they need to figure out how do they make things work for themselves.
And with all of this uncertainty, I'm told that the survey found about 1/3 of small businesses are going to be taking out additional financing over the next 6 months just to get by, with some cutting staff. And now all eyes are on negotiations and what governments will do next as livelihoods are on the line. Craig Crow, CTV News, Vancouver.
A new poll suggests that voters in Vancouver are split on Mayor Ken Sim and his ABC Council, and many are looking south to New York for inspiration. Research Co. finds nearly 3 in 5 residents want a mayor and council like New York's Zoran Mamdani, focused on bold, affordable moves. The poll shows divided views on Sim and the ABC, with roughly 1/3 of voters calling for new leadership. Another quarter say ABC's policies don't work and want different ideas, while 27% are willing to stick with the current mayor and council. On the park board, 70% of voters think a referendum is needed. The province says it has already surpassed its 2023 goal of saving 2,000 affordable homes in 3 years, with money to spare in its rental protection fund.
By surpassing that goal in under 3 years, we're showing that protecting homes people already rely on is one of the most impactful tools we have to ease pressure on renters.
The provincial housing minister says $150 million of the $500 million fund still remains. It was created in 2023 to help nonprofit housing providers buy rental buildings at risk of being lost to the private market. To date, nearly 2,200 homes have been saved. New purchases include 40 homes in Vancouver's Grandview Woodlands area and 37 units in White Rock. An independent report is raising alarm bells about the state of BC's forest industry, saying the current system is failing and in need of major change. The report from the Provincial Forestry Advisory Council says BC's forest management model is built for a different era and is now suffering job losses, mill curtailments, and closures. It lays out 4 key recommendations, including creating a modern forestry inventory and shifting to area-based land management with long-term planning. The Minister of Forests has already committed to moving the industry from volume-based to area-based harvesting.
Moving us towards a working forest model that can ensure that we have a sustainable harvest that allows these mills throughout British Columbia to be creating good paying jobs.
He adds that while the province was provided a copy of these recommendations a few weeks back, it is still too early to say what will be adopted from this report. The council says even if these recommendations were adopted today, it could take up to 5 years to implement in an industry teetering on collapse. That likely means more job losses on the horizon. Still ahead, a BC man's crippling fall while ice climbing south at the border. The push to bring him home facing overwhelming costs. That story coming up. But first, multi-million-dollar yachts up in flames, assessing the aftermath as new details emerge about the stubborn Sydney blaze. Three luxury yachts have sunk at a marina in Sydney, just north of Victoria, after a large fire early Sunday morning. You can see video showing flames and thick black smoke pouring from the Van Isle Marina, where that fire broke out at around 7:30 a.m. 3 70-foot luxury yachts were fully involved by the time fire crews arrived. Firefighters spent about 90 minutes knocking down the blaze. Nearby boats also suffered some heat damage. Officials say trying to figure out the cause will be extremely difficult. Crews say a lot of fuel and debris also went into the water, and an environmental assessment is now underway. Nobody was on board the boats at the time. A Squamish man is lucky to be alive tonight after falling 40 meters while ice climbing in the United States. While he underwent surgery in a hospital in Colorado, his wife learned that their travel insurance won't cover the enormous cost of his treatment and his transportation back to BC. So as Shannon Patterson reports, friends and the climbing community are stepping up to help.
Like many Squamish residents, 46-year-old Vratislav Durek loves the outdoors.
He just loves adventure of all kinds. He's an amazing skier, amazing climber.
10 months ago, Durek and his wife embarked on a year-long road trip through North and Central America.
We've just recently visited them during their travels in the U.S. and celebrated New Year's together. It's just insane to face where we are with reality.
On January 24th, Durek was ice climbing with friends in Colorado when he fell 40 meters to the ground below, shattering bones in his face, pelvis, arms, and legs.
That's not a fall that you would expect most people to survive. So it's just a miracle that he did.
Vajo is a brother to me.
Close friend Pierre Carrot immediately traveled from Jasper to Grand Junction, Colorado to be by Durek's side in hospital.
They were telling me from over there that it was in really rough shape and I would have to get ready to see him. His face was like all swelled up and his jaw was like really like damaged.
As Durek underwent extensive facial reconstruction surgery, his wife realized their travel insurance didn't cover extreme sports like ice climbing.
Because of how the activity is classified, the insurance coverage was denied, which just means that all of the medical costs have to be covered privately. And that just adds so much weight to a situation that's already so overwhelming.
So Durek's best friend started a GoFundMe to help cover the mounting costs.
First things first was to raise enough money to pay for the medevac. So these are private companies and they need to be paid upfront before they bring an airplane, an ambulance airplane to Colorado to fly him over to Vancouver.
He will need support for a long time, but we'll be there for him.
For Carrot and Dallaire, it's a chance to give back. When they lost their home in the Jasper wildfires, Durek invited them to live with him in Squamish.
It's our turn and we're paying it forward.
Just the most important thing is that we still have him with us.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
A bear cub that was badly burned in a slash pile fire is making a remarkable recovery after weeks of intensive care at a rescue center in Smithers. The Northern Lights Wildlife Society says the cub, named Valkyrie, is now bandage-free and standing on both front legs. The center has announced it is also taking in another cub. This one found malnourished between Vernon and Lumbee. Staff do say it's too soon to know if that young bear will be able to recover. Still ahead, the biggest names in music take center stage.
I'm going to say eyes out.
But it's not only music in the spotlight, the political push at the 68th Annual Grammy Awards.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch, a soggy scene at Parsons Channel on the south side of the mighty Fraser as the Barnston Island Ferry cruises over to Port Kells under heavy clouds.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
All right, here is a live shot of downtown Vancouver, Robson Street. Not too busy out there. Maybe the rain has scared everyone away.
Yes, I think so. Unfortunately, yeah, it was very wet today. But the good news is the wet skies are going to dry up. But first, it is February, believe it or not. Here's how we fared in January. On average, we saw a high of 7.9, not too bad considering the seasonal average is 7.2, warmer than the monthly average of 1.8. And for the month, we saw 134.3 millimeters of rain, still shy of the total of 162.1 millimeters for the month of January. So now we are are seeing some light rain across the board, drying up through the overnight into tomorrow morning. For your early morning commute, we will see a mix of sun and cloud. It does cloud over through the afternoon, so a few breaks here and there with a few scattered showers moving its way in for your afternoon commute. For the southern interior, you're looking at a mix of sun and cloud. 7 degrees from Vernon right down to Surrey. A few clouds for Cranbrook and Nelson. Overcast conditions for Revelstoke with a high of 5 degrees. For the central interior, cloudy skies with temperatures between 6 and 8. A few clouds along the coast. 9 degrees for Bella Coola. Wet and windy for Masset and Prince Rupert tomorrow. Temperatures between 9 and 11. Periods of rain for Terrace. Smithers, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 6 degrees for the North Island. A few breaks and 11 degrees for Port Hardy. 11s under cloudy skies for Campbell River and Comox. Overcast conditions for the South Island from Tofino right down to Victoria with a few scattered showers for Tofino and Port Alberni. Warm temperatures between 11 and 13 degrees. For the Sunshine Coast, you'll see 11 degrees under cloudy skies at the Sea to Sky Highway. Clears up for Whistler, 8 degrees. And for us across the Lower Mainland, mostly cloudy skies with temperatures between 12 and 13 degrees. Believe it or not, soak it all in. It clears up for Wednesday, 14 under a mix of sun and cloud. Blue skies, sunshine, 11 degrees on Thursday. It does cloud over for Friday. And then as we head into Saturday, 10 degrees. We'll start off cloudy. And then the rain returns in the afternoon. But pretty spectacular as we head into the next few days. Full spring. Enjoy the warm temperatures.
I was going to say that full sunshine. I'll wait to see if and when we finally get it.
Yes, okay. I promise you, you'll get it.
I hope it's coming. Thanks, Ed.
You're welcome.
Music's biggest night made a lot of noise in Los Angeles Sunday night. As the Grammy Awards put the spotlight on our artists, many used their platform to speak out against immigration and the crackdown in the United States. CTV's Andrea Case explains.
What I do if I didn't love you, baby? Four-time Grammy nominee Justin Bieber seemingly serenaded his wife Hailey Bieber in what host Trevor Noah called a captivating performance. This was Noah's 6th and final turn as host.
I believe in term limits. Yeah, I wanted to set an example for anyone who might be watching the show. You know, just leave when your time is up.
And there were more messages to anyone listening in the White House. Bad Bunny! The Puerto Rican superstar is set to perform at next week's Super Bowl and as such was not allowed to perform on the Grammy stage.
I'm gonna say, eyes out.
He used the platform to send a strong message.
We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans and we are Americans. The hate get more powerful with more hate. The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love.
He wasn't alone. Best New Artist winner, Olivia Dean.
I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I wouldn't be here. I'm a product of bravery, and I think those people deserve to be celebrated. So yeah, we're nothing without each other. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you so much. Bye.
A number of those in attendance wore Ice Out pins, including Song of the Year winners Phineas and Billie Eilish.
No one is illegal on stolen land. I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter and the people matter.
Andrea Case, CTV News.
Stella had some new hot spots to dine out. Your foodie forecast is next. And will there be 6 more weeks of winter? BC's own prediction this Groundhog Day. It is time now to dig into the foodie forecast, our weekly segment on restaurants that are opening soon or are closing their doors. Time Out Market Vancouver has announced 7 more additions to its stacked lineup. On the savory side, there's Peacock, a new Indian concept by chef Vij, plus new locations from Viva Tavere, Santo Taco, Kishimoto, and Heritage Asian Eatery. For something sweet, there will also be Mellow Donuts and Bobo Run. Time Out Market is set to open this spring in the new Oak Ridge Center. Now, if you can't wait for the market to open, you can go check out the new food hall at the Lonsdale Quay. Heritage Asian Eatery and Mellow Donuts have new spots there, and you'll also find local favorites like Le Coq Frite, Tokyo Wagyu Works and Crave Culture. A new bar called The Mainstay is at the center of the food hall. More vendors, including Disco Cheetah, are set to open up later this year. And the team behind Sula Indian Restaurants has opened a new cafe by the same name. Tucked away on 5th Avenue, just east of Main, Sula Cafe serves traditional chai, baked goods, and Indian-inspired sandwiches on house-made focaccia. Sounds great. Coffee lovers can also enjoy a specialty Indian origin brew crafted exclusively for the cafe. I am now hungry. Joining us now with a preview of CTV News at 6, here's Nafisa.
Lauren will have more on our top story. Another extortion-related shooting in Surrey, but this time 3 men have been arrested and police are releasing their photos. Also tonight, a dream trip turns into a nightmare. How a grandmother's plans to take her grandkids on an amazing vacation was grounded at the gate. It's a must-see story if you're planning to take off for spring break. Plus, we'll take you to South Korea, where they're pulling out all the stops in a bid to build Canada's next generation of submarines. CTV gets an exclusive look. And we have breaking news. 3 junior hockey players have been killed in a crash south of Calgary while on their way to practice. 2 of the teens were from Kamloops. We'll have details at 6. Lauren?
Thanks for the update, Nafisa. A furry stowaway survives a journey from the U.S. to Europe with no food or water as snowy roads send one semi spinning while another goes off the rails. Let's take a look at this. Here's CNN's Jeremy Roth.
Customs officials in Belarus were surprised to find a furry stowaway inside a car that had made a lengthy journey all the way from the United States. According to a press release, the Belarusian State Customs Committee says the vehicle was being unpacked from a shipping container when they spotted the live raccoon on the dashboard. Officials believe the pint-sized passenger had endured the long journey across the ocean with no food or water and turned it over to a local veterinary specialist for quarantine and care. A subsequent post said while options were being considered for the future home of the stowaway, nicknamed Senya, it had developed a friendly disposition as well as a healthy taste for grapes and chicken eggs. Speaking of a wild ride, take a look at a close call captured on dashcam on an Oklahoma highway, where a semi-truck was crowded in its lane and forced onto the shoulder where it lost its traction and spun 180 degrees around, coming to rest backwards and in the face of oncoming traffic. According to the Tulsa PD, no one was injured, but the semi did have to drive back to an off-ramp in the wrong direction to get its trailer back in the right direction. Well, I suppose it could have gone worse. A lot worse. A semi-truck in North Carolina met a tragic and somewhat predictable end when it got stuck trying to cross some snowy railroad tracks. The driver and others were surveying the scene when an oncoming train started bearing down, sending them scurrying to a safe distance, from which they watched the stuck truck bite the big one. Officials say no one was injured in the collision and shared the scene on social media as a cautionary tale of why staying off the roads in extreme inclement weather is a good idea. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Yikes.
I know. How is no one injured?
So scary.
That's amazing. Well, a Vancouver Island marmot is weighing in, and of course we know it's Groundhog Day. And the marmot is predicting 6 more weeks of winter.
And that means it's Groundhog Day.
Violet made her prediction alongside her mate Philip. The marmot couple is one of 18 pairs producing pups to be released into the wild as part of a recovery program. Violet is in hibernation, so she was basically sleeping on the job, so take her prediction at face value. But she made the same prediction as Puxatawny Phil in Pennsylvania.
All right. We'll have to see what happens. Let's take a look at our scenic snapshot tonight. It's Soggy Day in Squamish at Alice Lake. Thanks, Katie, for sending this one in. And you can email us your scenic snapshot as well at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
All right, CTV News at 6 is coming up just ahead with Nafisa. Right now, here is CTV National News. Good night.